Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Mein Name ist Christiane Wirz. Ich bin Coach und Autorin aus Köln und weiß, wie sich etwas aus Krisen machen lässt. Manchmal zumindest, muss ich sagen, in diesen doch teilweise beklemmenden und sehr, sehr schwierigen Zeiten, die wir jetzt alle durchleben. Und natürlich weiß ich auch nicht alles und weiß ich vor allen Dingen auch nicht alles besser. Aber ein bisschen Krisenerfahrung habe ich schon und ich begrüße heute jemanden, der auch Krisenerfahrung hat, und zwar im Bereich Mental Health. Es ist Wendell Fields. I switched to English, Wendell. Hi, Wendell. Welcome to this podcast. Please introduce yourself a little bit, where you're from, and how did we get to know each other?
All righty. Well, good morning for some and good afternoon for others. My name is Wendell Fields. Oh, yeah, I like that one. I like that one. Let me say it again. My name is Wendell Fields. Woo! God dog. Woo. Man, in the morning, that thing gets me woke and get me ready. And I tell you, but at one point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I hated hearing my name. When I heard that name, I associated it with I'm in trouble in some type of way. And what changed my view was a wonderful woman by the name of Philandra Johnson. I used to work with her at another organization, and she saw me for the first time, maybe in 5 or 7 years. And she saw me at the elevator, and she only saw my view from a side view. And in that, she said, Wendell Fields. And that was my first time hearing my name in such a positive way. That's the way I introduce myself to others that don't know me in that way. So one, hey, you can remember my name, but two, to continue her legacy of helping me to appreciate and celebrate my name by doing that. So it's an honor and a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to meet you. I'm an individual that has a lot of energy sometimes. And in that, it will come out and you will hear it this day. But my bio is sort of interesting. Now, I have over 28 years of working in the mental health and substance use field, okay? I have also 14 years of working in a mobile crisis response intervention field, okay? I am a suicide attempt survivor in 2008. I am a winner. I say a winner of the Viewpoint Health Extra Mile Award recipient in June of 2019 for assisting and helping someone not take their life by jumping off the banner of stairs in the building, as well as preventing an incredible situation from happening where a person could have busted the windows of the organization and jumped off the window. So that's how I got that award. I am a co-author of a best-selling book with Miss Vanessa Abrams, ladies and gentlemen. And that book is There Is No Health Without Mental Health, Anthology, Men and Mental Health. Hey, let's talk about it, okay? I'm a part of the cast of the award-winning documentary with Kevin Hines, a Suicide, the Ripple Effect. And I am a certified QPR, Kaum, as well as youth mental health first aid instructor. So that's a little bit about good old me. And my mentor is with us today, Miss Vanessa Abrams. And let me tell you, she is a woman of grace, essence, and power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just honored to have her with me today, just to be supportive. And if she would like to share, she's welcome to share in this opportunity with us today.
Okay, thank you, Wendell. This is very impressive. We have to hear more about the details. Vanessa is with us. I'm very happy for that. Vanessa, what exactly is your connection with Wendell, and how did you get to know each other?
Well, first of all, good morning, good afternoon. I'm Vanessa Abram, the CEO and the visionary behind Self-Discovery, Pain, Positioning, and Purpose Incorporated. We are a 501c3 that's on a mission to eradicate suicide by educating the masses around the world. Wendell and I don't even recall how we met, but it's been a wrap since the very first time we've met. I really cannot say where we have met, but it seems like we've known each other forever. He's been on my panels. He is in this award-winning book, Men in Mental Health. Let's talk about it. And one thing that he did forget is to let you all know that he and I were in DBHDD documentary around first responders, where I was the wife of the gentleman that took his life, and Wendell was the one that came on the scene to comfort me. So it's like right now we're inseparable. So just as the Lord blesses me, I just want to bless others. And he is a great person, and a great person that is coachable and that's willing to learn. I mean, he's already out here doing the work and living that life. And these are the type of people that I navigate to, those that are in the trenches with me. I, too, am a suicide survivor, and I am a sibling survivor. My older brother passed 5 years ago. He was a U.S. Army decorated veteran, and he passed by suicide. So that pain, again, self-discovery, pain, positioning, and purpose. Self-discovery is knowing who you are not, but yet who you're becoming. Our pain, my pain, positions me for purpose. So thus, self-discovery, pain, positioning, and purpose.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing that. So just to underline that again, you lost your husband, you lost your brother because of suicide. And this is...
Not my brother. No. I mean, not my husband. No, that was in a documentary. That the gentleman played as my husband. He was an actor. We were acting. So not my husband, but my brother. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so your brother committed suicide.
Yes, actually, and I'll have to say, technically and politically correct, here in the States, and this is one thing that I am teaching as I am learning and growing, committed is not the accurate word. It's either passed by or completed by or died by suicide. Because when we say committed, it's like they broke a law or something of that nature. So we say died by or completed suicide or passed by suicide. So yes, my brother did pass by way of completed suicide.
So you mean committed sounds like he's accused of having committed something.
Exactly.
Like a bad act.
And yes, that's right. And these are some of the things that Wendell and I are learning and helping people to correct that and be, correct in saying that, because when I hear that, it definitely, I'm already bleeding, still bleeding, have a bleeding heart and hurting. It still hurts the more, but healing comes when I am able to learn and then be able to correct my actions, all while sharing with others to correct their actions. So, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Vanessa and Wendell, you wrote a book together, or could you explain that a little bit further?
Okay. Well, how we met, Ms. Abrams, is by the book, actually. A mutual friend of ours by the name of Jennifer Wiles. She got in contact with me and said, hey, a person is writing a book about suicide, and I think it would be a great idea if you contributed. And I'm like, a book? Oh, Lord, I'm going to share my story in this book that everybody can read. And I had hesitations. I was scared. That stigma that was there, it really had shaped my mindset and my behavior and my response. But I gave it a try, and I contacted Mrs. Abrams, and from there we just hit it off. And when I say hit it off, it was like, hey, she shared her story, I shared my story, and it was a good fit. And from there, the book and the formulation and the coordination of it, I tell you, it was on and popping. And that's how we met. And I can let her talk about the concept of the book, but I just shared a part of it, you know, and it's sort of like a finger that's part of a fist. You know, I'm just a part of it. But this is her baby. This is her child. And she allowed me to nurse it and help her with it.
So the title of the book is Men and Mental Health. That's true?
No, it is There Is No Health Without Mental Health. Anthology. Men and Mental Health. Let's talk about it.
So this is not the same. You contributed to two books.
No, just one book, but
okay.
that
okay.
title is
sorry. Now I got it. So
okay,
it's both. There is no health without mental health, and man and mental health. It's focusing on the experiences of men, especially because maybe there even is a little bit still more stigma and pain and fear to talk about mental health, let's say for men than for women.
Yes. And Mrs. Abrams, she can talk about the vision that she had with this book, and it'll better help others to understand the purpose and mission of the book. So Mrs. Abrams, if you're able to contribute. And
Sure. The reason behind the book, number one, just as I stated, my brother passed by suicide. Men are suffering. Men suffer in silence, and actually on the cover is my husband. And he too suffered silently until during one of our tours, I believe it was in Jackson, Mississippi, pre-pandemic, when he began to speak. So there are so many men that are afraid to speak about their mental wellness, to the fact of it creates a barrier and it builds up on the stigma. We're learning that many men, by nature, are masculine and strong and things of that nature. But then when you speak about your weakness, you may be thought of as weak, which is the total opposite as it relates to mental wellness. When a person talks about mental wellness, that's a sign of strength. One of our taglines for self-discovery is no shame, no silence, no stigma, no suicide. So there's no shame, there's no silence that will create no stigma and no suicides if we talk about it. And that's one of the things that I commend Wendell on, is he's not afraid to talk about it. The more he talks, the more healing is exchanged between himself and those that he is speaking to. So it is so important for all of us to understand that there is no health without mental health. We all have a degree of mental illness, just like we can catch a cold, just like, diabetes or cancer. This is no different. But yet with Christine, if I were to say back years ago, hey, I'm getting ready to go see my therapist, someone would have made fun of me. Oh, so you're crazy, or whatever the case may be. No, ma'am, no, sir. That doesn't mean I'm crazy. As a matter of fact, I'm taking care of my health. So these are things that we are really, really working to bring to the forefront so that we will stop losing our men to suicide.
Yes.
Whew, I told you she's amazing. I'm trying to tell you, she's amazing. She's amazing.
She's amazing. Vanessa, the book was released when was the book released?
I have many anthologies, so I don't know. And then we also have curriculums as well. And anthologies are put in place again to bring a group of people together and let's talk about it and share our strengths that will create healing. So, you know, that's what the anthology is about. It is about bringing people together.
Okay. So, so we have a little anthology here with this podcast. It's not just about mental health, but a lot about mental health. And Wendell, could you share your story here with us? When was the biggest challenge, and how did you come out of it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my story is interesting because I was born in difficult times and hard times. And it came to the point of a doctor asking my grandmother, who do you want to live? Do you want your daughter or do you want your grandson to live? Now, my grandmother was a woman of faith. And in that, she said, both of them are going to live. And so that's how it happened, although there were complications that my mom was going through. At that time, my mom had eclampsia. And eclampsia is a condition where people who are pregnant go through so much changes in their body that my mom was experiencing seizures, incontinence. She was literally going blind sometimes and passing out and fainting. And that's all because of the pregnancy. And that's what was going on, to the point where they had to ask the doctor, who do you want to live? Because I was causing my mother so much agony and pain. And with that, my grandmother said both of them going to live. And in that, my birth experience was twofold. One, I got stuck in the birth canal. And then they had to push me back up the birth canal. And then they did a C-section on my mom to pull me out. And make it so bad, ladies and gentlemen, I only weighed 2 pounds, 10 ounces when I was born. So you could fit my whole body in a baseball cap. And in that, they placed me in an incubator, and I had a touch of ammonia, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how I was introduced into this world, in an incubator. Okay. And in this, I got healthy. So, you know, I got more weight on me. And not only that, but I got healthy. And maybe in a couple of months or so, I was released from the hospital and introduced into the world as Wendell J. Fields. Oh, yeah, boy, I tell you, boy, I wasn't crawling. I was, they strolled me in the little stroller, and I looked in the world, and oh, man, the sights, the sounds, the smells, woo. And I was in the arms of a loving family. How about that? A world of innocence. Oh, yeah. And there I was growing up, climbing trees and, man, just enjoying life. And then came confusing touches of molestation by both men and women. And that was at the age of 4. And all that innocence, all that joy in life was taken. And I was confused. I didn't understand. And in that, ladies and gentlemen, things just started happening. I mean, due to my size and appearance, even because of my race, I was picked on. I was bullied from a young age. I got those touches of being bullied. And as a result, I became shy. I was mediocre, and I wasn't even much to look at. My school performance was horrible. And in this, of all things, my mom put me in an oratorical contest, ladies and gentlemen. And I won it. This short little joker, maybe 50 pounds or more, he won. I won the whole thing. And in that, it gave me such a oomph of life. It gave me such a boost in life. I felt like I belonged. I felt like people didn't see me as that small frame boy any longer because of that one accomplishment. But with this newfound confidence, ladies and gentlemen, when I went to high school, I had went to a Catholic elementary school for a very, very long time. But when I went to high school, they didn't have uniforms there. And I decided to dress myself. And ladies and gentlemen, it was brutal. I got bullied because of how I dressed. I mean, that was an introduction, ladies and gentlemen, of not just being bullied because of my clothes, but that was the first time I even heard a racial slur come my way. All of a sudden, that confidence that I had, ladies and gentlemen, gone. And I started really doing bad in school. In fact, I got caught plagiarizing out of a book for an assignment. And the teacher, she looked at me and she said, "Wendell, what's wrong with you? You're a smart young man. I want you to do this assignment over. And I want you to use a dictionary and a thesaurus. And I want you to put these things and ideas in your own words." I did the assignment over. And because of how the teacher approached me, it made me say, ooh.
She saw something in you. She believed in you.
Yeah. And she changed my trajectory in how I looked at education. And I could do education. She changed so much my mindset that I started getting A's and B's and C's.
Wow.
And maybe one D. But I used to be a C, E, F, G, all those lower letters. But
all those other important letters.
and I mean, she built my confidence in learning. And in that, I decided that I wanted to go to college. And I decided to go to Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. And ladies and gentlemen, instead of getting my education, I pursued being liked. I partied, I drank, I even chased so many girls, it was pathetic. And I got on academic probation like nobody's business, not once, twice, 3 times. And then I tried to pledge a fraternity. And in that, my grades were horrible. They were back to the D's, maybe 1 C, B, maybe. But ladies and gentlemen, it ended up that with trying to pledge this fraternity and not pledging, I got threatened. I got threatened to be hurt and harmed and possibly even killed. And that's when I left. And I went all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, to Oral Roberts University, all Christian school. And of course, my grades went up, A's, B's, and C's, because I didn't have the distraction of wanting to be liked. I had the attraction of trying to form a relationship with God through a school, through study and education. And it changed my life somewhat, but it ended up, ladies and gentlemen, that of all these, I had a hernia, and that hernia was causing me so much pain that I had to get an operation. And in that, it stopped the progress that I was making. in my education to the point where I got on academic probation and I got asked to go home. You all, I felt horrible. All of this work that my parents did, I was ashamed. I felt like a failure. And although when I got home, I immediately got a great and wonderful job working with the state of Georgia in the United States. And though I got that wonderful job and hey, I got married at 23 years old, as well as I got in the ministry and I became the best youth pastor ever. But yet still, I felt ashamed and I felt like a failure. And I tell you, although I got that job, the job wasn't paying a whole lot. And though I got married, yet in 13 years, ladies and gentlemen, I got a divorce. And in that ministry that I was in, I went to another church and became the executive pastor of a church. And due to scandal in that church, I had to leave the executive pastor position. You all, I felt so bad. And with the divorce happening and with the child support, I felt like I lost freedom. I lost the ability to generate revenue because child support was taking that money now. And in this, ladies and gentlemen, it ends up that with all the feelings I've had, with being bullied, with being molested, with the low expectation in school and everything like that, ladies and gentlemen, it came to a crescendo when I was presented with an arrears. So what arrears is, it says that you owe back child support, meaning that I didn't pay child support within the number of years or months or days. And it was a lie. I was presented with a notice, and in that I had to present and show evidence that I really did pay child support. And I'm so lucky that I had copies of the receipt showing in which the child's mother got payment. But I had it up to here. It was too cruciating, and I felt like all I was an ATM machine, just giving money. That's all I was good for. And at this time, I hadn't seen my son, and he was 3 at this time, in a little while. And in that, ladies and gentlemen, I had enough. I had enough of life. And that's when I chose to take my life through getting hit by an incoming train of all things and tried to take my life that way. That was in 2008. 2008 is when I tried to take my life. And I tell you, it was the lowest point in my life. And I was struggling so hard with the thoughts of being a failure, with the thoughts of feeling like I'm nobody. I'm not even loved by people. And it ended up that as I was trying to get hit by the train, it ends up that as I'm getting ready to cross the rail, because there's an intersection, like crossroads there. And at that intersection, I just remembered hearing a voice outside of myself saying 2 words, and those words were your son. And not only did that voice say it loud, the voice said it twice and said, your son. And in my head, I was like, that's who I'm doing it for. They can get the insurance money, and that will be my gift and contribution to my son. All I know is that after hearing that, I remember driving, and I remember letting the steering wheel go. And in that, the train was coming on my right-hand side. The steering wheel turned to the left. It turned away from the incoming train. And
you have been saved by this coincidence? By letting it go?
Yeah. In letting that steering wheel go, it turned to the left. And I don't know what actually went on, but I saw it turning to the left. And I don't know if I hit a bump in the road or what it was, but it turned to the left, and the car immediately turned to the left and away from the train. And I remember a little embankment, and it hit a pole that was on the left-hand side of me. The car came to a stop, and I cried like a baby. And you all, I had to have cried for a good half an hour or more. And I cried, and I said, I need help. I need help. I need help. That's when I changed some and went to getting help. You always, it's the roughest thing I've ever done. And in this, you all, I just remembered I wanted to get help. And I remember going to the doctors, and I remember going to the therapy sessions, and I hated it because I felt like it wasn't helping me. I was too afraid of medications because my mom, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I saw how the medications caused her to have so many side effects. And I was scared. I was scared of the medications. I was scared because I wasn't able to manage on my own this thing anymore. And the medications I tried, and I had terrible side effects. I tried the therapy, and I hated it. I felt like it didn't give me no direction. It didn't give me any purpose. And I decided, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to do any of this. And for 10 years, I struggled with those decisions even more. Things didn't break for me until 2018, where I was able to hear a magnificent man by the name of Kevin Hines. Kevin Hines is the gentleman that jumped off the Golden State Bridge in America and survived. But in this, he told his story of when he jumped off that bridge in midair. He said, "What am I doing? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to live." And that man, he was saying what I was crying inside, yelling, in fact, I want to live. I want to live, but I'm scared too. And I don't know how. That man gave me so much encouragement. He gave me so much hope that afterwards I went to him, tears in my eyes, and I said, man, you saved my life today. Because here it is, I'm thinking about taking my life again. And he brought it to a perspective of what happened if I went on and tried to take my life and physically I caused more harm than good. I could become paralyzed. I could become so many things. And this guy changed my mindset about my life and what I could do. And seeing him share his story and what he went through, because he's a person that went through and deals with having bipolar disorder with psychotic features, hearing voices, seeing those things. And he just changed my life. And I still was afraid to go get help. And here come the most amazing other person, Teresa Johnson. Teresa Johnson was my supervisor on my job. And she noticed that my job performance had been going down. And in this, ladies and gentlemen, she ended up saying, hey, what's going on with you? What's wrong? And I had an opportunity to be honest and vulnerable with her, or I could say a lie. And I chose to be vulnerable and honest. She said, Wendell, I think you're depressed. And I think you need to go get help. And I shared with her my stories of therapy, and I shared about the medications and everything. And then this is what she said: I know your fear. I am a person that deals with depression, and I take these meds and they help me. And her nice, calm voice, it soothed me. And it exposed me to being able to go get help. And this is what helped. She said, how about if we go together to the doctor's office so you don't be alone? I was so heart-struck, and I was so grateful that I didn't have to face this by myself. It gave me the courage to go in. Although I refused her offer, I went in by myself. And ever since then, this is in 2018, I've been taking my medications faithfully. But I found out that medications is just not the all and end all. You have to have some other components in there. It's sort of like a holistic approach to getting well. And in that, I learned how to use physical exercise, going to the gym and running and doing various exercises that contributes to my health. I found out that going to do annual checkups. It is so important, ladies and gentlemen, that you do your annual checkups, because it's going to allow you to make some great and wonderful decisions about how you want to pursue your health and get better. And in that, I found out that I have diabetes type 2. And in that, I found out also that I have sleep apnea. And those two things affects your mood and how you manage your emotions. And when you get those things together, it really does help out. But it's not the end of those things. I found out that, hey, getting involved in my community. And I'm now a minister at another church and getting involved in that and helping others, but also learning how to use the community resources as well as supports that's out there, the warm lines, the hotlines, those type of things. And in that, it has been keeping me going encouraged. And when I say reaching out in the community, that's when Vanessa Abrams comes in. That's when you come in, Christine, because you all have opened up an opportunity for others to not just share their story, but to come out and have the courage to help others. And that's what both of you all do. You all put in an atmosphere, an environment in which others can come in and share not just their story, but share their hopes, their dreams. They're doing left and right and integrating people, places, and things together to form such a bridge of hope and help and love that, wow, you can't help but grow and get better. And so thank you. Thank y'all so much for how and what you do and having the courage to step out and say, I'm going to help others this way because you are surely helping me.
Thank you, Wendell. So what would you say, Wendell? What really changed? I mean, you spoke about Theresa and you spoke about Kevin. These were people who suffered themselves.
Yes.
Is that something that turned your story?
Yes. I felt like I wasn't alone. I felt like people who had experience in that particular disorder or that they had a mental health challenge and how they overcame it. They helped me to step out in the light of being vulnerable and honest. It's okay to do. But yet you gotta seek out the help that comes along with that. And hearing their stories, them sharing the hurt, the pain, the agony, the struggle, it gave me something to not only relate to, but to see them how they overcame all of that. It causes me to devise a plan of action for myself to get better.
Yes. So, Wendell, you would say that you are more or less okay. I mean, you have some little struggles like type 2 diabetes or other things, and you're suffering maybe a little bit from side effects of the medication, but in general, you feel comfortable in your life?
Oh man, I feel like 100% keep on going, yippee-ki-yay, man. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! And it only gets better. But those are the things that help me. But I gotta continue to build tools, develop tools, get tools that help me to live even a more functional, a better life. Because I know that there is better. I have to work at getting better because now it's good, but yet I still have some areas in which I have to grow in, mature in, and develop skills and abilities in those areas. And it's wonderful. Guess what? To learn again. Oh, I'm learning how, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. And it's exciting. It's like when a child goes on a playground for the first time and they see all the apparatus, all the items out there on that playground field, and they see the slides, they see the merry-go-round, they see the monkey bars. I mean, and it's like, ooh, life is alive again. And, ooh, I want to learn this. Ooh, I want to learn how to do that. Ooh. And then it's amazing when you have other people around you that's learning the same thing and you can join in. That's what you, Christine, and you, Mrs. Abrams, y'all bring that. Y'all bring that to where it's like, I don't have to do this learning by myself. I got friends.
That's perfect. Wendell, we record this podcast episode at the end of November. It will be released in December. And November is a little bit a time where people get a little bit more depressed than usual because there is no warm weather. And anyway, we have these COVID problems, the new variant, and this is depleting for everybody, and maybe especially for some people. And let's say during the holiday season, some people who are not blessed with the most happy family feel under more pressure even than usually. So is there something that you can heal or comfort the hearts and the minds of people who are depressed during these days?
Well, one thing I am honored to say that I'm a part of now is NAMI. Of all things, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Oh my goodness, I have become a partner with them in our own voice presentation. And in that, ladies and gentlemen, I learned that NAMI has so many. When I say so many, they got so many programs out there to help individuals that's coping and trying to deal with various things at this time. And so they have things that are peer-to-peer, people who have mental health challenges and they're able to share their story with another. They have family education. They have individual education. They have so many programs that will assist, and they have a 24/7 type of like crisis line also. And so NAMI is out there, and I'll share that information shortly. But I want to just give a preference or an intro that, hey, NAMI is out there for those that might be going through. And also in the States, we have what is called a warm line that is CARES. Now, this is a Georgia Council on Substance Abuse warm line for individuals that might use alcohol or drugs to try to cope and deal with maybe a mental health challenge. And we have those type of warm lines that people can call, and I'll give contact information about that shortly. But you have these other marvelous and giving programs that help people during these times, you know, and they understand how difficult it is. Some people are dealing with trauma. Some people are dealing with just various obstacles that come up during these holidays. And with the variant, oh my goodness. You know, for the African American race, it's been a hard road because people have chosen to use us as guinea pigs at some point in time with various chemicals and things, and they didn't value African American lives. And in that, racism is there. And African Americans are afraid of man's technology, if you will, because we've been the subjects of hurt, pain. And it wasn't self-discovery. It was more of their discovery on how something can affect our lives. And so we're learning how to trust, but some individuals are making it hard to trust them in the way of their speech, in the way of their actions, in the way of their behaviors. And I've heard a man of God say, change is not change until you change. And in that, you have to change your mentality. In that, you have to change your heart, your mind, your response. And in that, that goes for mental health too, and how people view it. Stop stigmatizing. Stop prejudging us. Stop all of it. And let us and look at us as a human being, just like you are, who has gifts, talents, and abilities that can help society and not bring it down.
Thank you, Wendell. So you mentioned NAMI. This is very important for the US. In Europe, let's say in Germany, for the upcoming days during the holidays, you can count on something that is called the Telefonseelsorge. I've worked with them during the last month, especially, and talked with them about my experience, and they have been very empathetic. And I'm sure that if somebody is trying to call for help here in Germany and doesn't want to call to the US, what might be possible? What might be possible? I mean, why not? Why not?
I would hope so.
Yes, but and also in the US, I mean, if you try to understand this German language, you can call the Telefonseelsorge. This is no big deal. You will find people. You will find people with open hearts and knowledge how to deal with urgent cases and.
Yes.
So Wendell, so let's try.
Let me do this also. Mrs. Abrams, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit more with the NAMI organization and what it offers. And I know we have some time, but it's coming down. but if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit, because I want to give my mentor an opportunity here also, just to share.
Perfect, Vanessa. Go ahead.
Sure, I'll be quick. And also with that, too, we have an evaluation that if you, Christine, could click, I'm going to go ahead and submit it to you now about, we're sharing about the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is the largest grassroots organization in the world. There's one in every state. And NAMI, outside of my faith, Christine, and Wendell knows this, NAMI was my saving grace outside of my faith when my brother passed, because I was going to attempt again. And I never heard of NAMI, and I went to NAMI and I kept going back. They feed you so much information about your brain, about mental illness, about mental health, about mental wellness. They have veteran programs. They have groups for children. They have programs where you go into the high schools and you talk to the high school children around the importance of mental health. There is just a variety. I mean, it's a plethora of rich information that NAMI provides to the community. And I am one that I partner with them. And everywhere that I teach and speak, I always talk about NAMI, because NAMI has really been great and just has been an asset to me. And that's why I get people on and involved, such as Wendell and many other people, so they too can get that richness in the education so that they can become better in knowledge and wisdom as it relates to mental health and wellness. So yeah. And then again, I put that evaluation in there. It's really simple and real quick. You click, share what you've learned, and if there's anything we can do better, and the demographics as well, so that NAMI also can know too, what it is that they can do better, or how well we are doing representing NAMI.
Thank you, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
When we talk about NAMI, one of your advocates is Juan Acosta, who did an interview with us, I think last year. I don't know exactly, but he's one of my interview guests, or was one of my interview guests too. Vanessa and Wendell, just let's pray and hope that this virus, I don't want to say that we want to, that we overcome this crisis as a human world community. and that we all will have some peaceful days at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. And that we might see each other one day in person, and if not very soon, that we see each other, I don't know, virtually. And so I want to thank you, both of you. Thank you, Wendell, for sharing this very moving story, Wendell, and a brave story. And again, maybe women are really a little bit different. I mean, like, I really think it's more difficult.
You know that women are different than men.
I know.
And you know that men can't be vulnerable. They can't show emotion. They have to be the tough guy. They have to be a leader, and they always got to do instead of be. Yes. And that's what some of the issues and the problems is, that we have to display so much manlyhood in the mindset of us being manly that we forget that we are human. And we forget that we have emotions, we have feelings, and we are traumatized, and we do go through hardships and challenges, and we don't know what to do or how to do or when to do. And we have to gain those strengths, those skills, those abilities that will help us to live a longer life. Yeah. Now, with me and my medical issues, I've learned that they're challenging, but I still have a choice and a ability to respond in a healthy manner than not doing anything at all or being self-destructive through using alcohol, drugs, or other means. And it's like, I'm still learning, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And for those that might be hearing this in the U.S., hey, get with NAMI. Call the 1-800-950-6264 number. They're there to help you. And if you're in Georgia, the state of Georgia, you can call 1-800-715-4225. That is the Georgia Crisis and Access Line. Now, if you're in another state, you can still call, and they will connect you with the other states that are involved in crisis stabilization type stuff and field. You're never alone, ladies and gentlemen. You are never alone. You might think and feel you are, but you are never, ever alone. And for those individuals that might be using drugs or alcohol, hey, look at the CARES Warm Line. And you can call them at 1-844-326-5400, 24/7 out of the whole year, 365 days. They're open. They got their lights on. They waiting on you. And you got people that care. To Miss Abrams, to Christine, thank you so much for the opportunity to share and be vulnerable and be honest. And thank you for your platform of having mental health be the subject and upfront, and how we can help one another. You're doing a magnificent job. Miss Abrams, you're doing a magnificent job and spectacular.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendell. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm switching to German again. Ja, Wendell und Vanessa haben uns praktisch den Tipp gegeben, jetzt über die Feiertage, wenn es sehr schwierig wird, vielleicht für Menschen, die sowieso mit der ein oder anderen Sache zu kämpfen haben, familiäre Probleme haben, wie auch immer. Und jetzt kommen noch ein paar andere Schwierigkeiten dazu, durch die wir ja jetzt im Moment alle gehen müssen aufgrund dieses Virus. Nicht falsch reagieren. Es ist immer jemand erreichbar. In den USA sind es die Verbindungen Tsunami, die immer rund um die Uhr besetzt sind. Rund um die Uhr ist da immer jemand, den man erreichen kann. Und so ist es auch hier in Deutschland. Ich möchte mich für heute bedanken bei Vanessa und Wendell. Und eventuell werde ich nicht erst in 2 Wochen den nächsten Podcast veröffentlichen, sondern vielleicht schon vorher einen Interviewgast haben. Ich hoffe, es hat euch was gebracht. Ich hoffe, es hat euch ein wenig das Herz wärmen können. Und wie gesagt, wir hören uns bald wieder mit dem nächsten interessanten Podcast-Gast. Es kann gut sein, dass es wieder um ein Mental Health-Thema geht. Bleibt bis dahin gesund, zumindest überwiegend gesund, sowohl seelisch als auch körperlich. Alles Gute. Tschüss.